Have you ever wondered why schools don't teach you how to get rich? People are kept poor and average by the way schools are set up. They were never made so that you can get rich and live a happy life. They were meant to make you work, obey orders, and never dream big. And if you want to change that programming, you'd better watch the whole video, because no one is coming to save you. Welcome to Financer, your place for business, finance, and wealth creation knowledge. And today, we give present you 10 things about money that you won't learn in school. Money gets worthless over time. Money's important because it can be used to buy and sell things, as a unit of account, and most importantly, as a place to store value. Let's say a few words about each of these. So, medium exchange means that money needs to be fluid and easy to trade for things and services. The unit of account helps people figure out how much something costs in relation to something else. But why would people accept bills instead of, say, seashells as payment for goods and services? Well, because of the third attribute. Money must also be a good source of value. This means that it keeps value over time, so you can save it and spend it later. And we all know that the third attribute isn't really there anymore, which is why inflation is so high. So if you bought a dozen eggs for $2.86 in 2022, you're actually paying $3.27 in 2023, a rise of 14%. But that doesn't solve the problem of where to keep your money. Do you feel the impact of inflation on your daily life? Let us know in the comments below. So saving money for retirement used to be a good idea, but now it will only make you poor. This makes it easy to move on to the next point. Saving makes you poor. Okay, money is a tool. It's not a prize if all you do with it is save it in a bank account. You're treating it like a pretty thing to look at from a distance when it should be on the field helping your team score points. Please let us explain. So yes, when you save, you keep your money and maybe even make a little bit of money from the bank. But it's not nearly enough to keep up with inflation, which makes your money worth less and less every year. In an age of paper money, on the other hand, wealth is made through investing. And if you get this, you'll be ahead of the people who still don't get it. Most people put their money into stocks, bonds, and real estate. The goal is to grow, and the plan is to be patient and take measured risks. Compound interest is what really seals the deal here. When you spend, your money can earn interest, and that interest can also earn interest, and so on. Over time, this keeps getting worse and worse, causing exponential growth. Investing does have risk, but if you know about money and have a plan, you can reduce those risks, spread your investments, keep them for a long time, and figure out how much risk you can handle. And if you do all of these things, you might get to sit at the big kid table one day. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, don't hesitate to share this video with them. And the big kids know for sure that the central banks are in charge of everything. Think of the central banks as a safety net for the economy, something that was put in on purpose. See, every single dollar, euro, yen, etc. is made by a central bank. No matter if we're talking about the Federal Reserve or the CEB, it's important to know how these organizations work if you want to learn more about your own finances. They not only make money, but because they control the money supply, they also control your life and how and when you spend your money. So if you want to keep your money, you have no choice but to follow their rules. Central banks can change the amount of money in the economy in a number of ways. The most common are open market operation, changing the amount of reserves needed and changing the discount rate. And with these tools, they try to get bank, businesses, and in the end, us, to spend, save, or invest. Knowing this is important because this economic machine rests on people not knowing about it. Adam Smith called it the invisible hand. Our problem is the only one that is centralized and not at all hidden. That means there is no such thing as a free market in our economy. Let's talk about the next money secret you won't learn in school. What makes credit different from cash? So cash is the most important thing. Many people have this saying in their head, and for good reason. When you have cash on hand, you have full power over your money. Cash lets a deal end right away without any future obligation. It shows how much money you have on hand, or how much you really own at any given time. On the other hand, credit is a strong tool that should only be used wisely. Even the government doesn't use it very well most of the time. Trust is what makes it possible for one person to give money to another person without getting paid back right away. Instead, the second person offers to pay back or return the money at a later date. Think of credit as your reputation in the business world. It shows how well you can handle debt and can help you make big purchases, build businesses, and pay for unexpected costs. But there is a cost to credit in the form of interest, and most people don't know if they can pay it or not. And if you want to be a pro at money, you need to know how to play with both. Credit is a tool just like cash. And if you know how to use it to your advantage, there's nothing stopping you from building wealth that will last for generations. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to decide between cash and credit? Share your experiences in the comments. Money is tied to value. Creating value isn't a one-time lucky break. It's a process, a constant cycle of finding needs, coming up with answers, and doing it all over again on a large scale. And the magic of distributing this value is making sure it goes to the right people. And you do that by making people trust you, making a great product, and selling it well. The circle of making and sharing value is what makes people successful and helps the whole society grow. And in the big picture, the people who know how to play by the rules are not those who get rich by taking money from others, but those who get rich by making society better. All of this is built on the law of supply and demand, which is the key to almost all financial knowledge. If you're finding this information valuable, hit the subscribe button to stay updated on more financial wisdom. A regular salary is like a drug. In his book, The Better Procrustes, Nassim Taleb said it better than anyone else ever could. Heroin, carbs, and a monthly pay are the 5 most dangerous addictions. Now, you might be wondering why you put a monthly salary next to drugs that have direct effects on the body. Well, it's because a set income can make a person physically dependent. It makes you lazy and less willing to take risks, which will stop you from reaching your full potential. It's easy to get used to a habit, just as it's easy to get used to the security of a monthly paycheck. This movement is important because it helps businesses make money, pay their employees, and spend in growth, which in turn helps stimulate the economy. Money also needs to leave the market at the same time. This happens when businesses or people buy things or services from other countries, invest in foreign markets, or pay off foreign debt. These steps help keep from putting too much money in one place, which can lead to problems like inflation. They also help to produce a wide range of investment opportunities and good trade relationships between countries. It's important to understand this because, for example, if you have cash flow, you can keep reinvesting your gains to grow your business's income. This is also true for business. If you want to make money, you have to be willing to give it away and let it spread through the market. How to budget. Budgeting is more than just adding up numbers. It is the best way to become financially independent. Your hard-earned money should work for you, not the other way around. It's about being in charge of your money, if you will, planning what you'll spend in the future, and making your dreams come true. If you know how to make a budget, you're working towards your cash goal. Schools don't teach this important skill, which is like leaving out the secret ingredient in a recipe. It doesn't teach you how to handle money in a world where that's the most important thing. When you know how to make a budget, you really have control over your money. Imagine a world where everyone was in charge of their own money and personal debt was rare, not common. Most people are stressed about money, so fixing this problem would make the world a better, less stressful place. Tax avoidance versus tax fraud. You may have heard the terms tax avoidance and tax evasion used. Even though they sound alike, they couldn't be more different. And getting the two mixed up could get you into a lot of trouble. So avoiding taxes means using legal ways to lower your tax bill, like discounts, credits, or exemptions. It's completely legal and a smart way to manage your money. Basically, you're playing by the rules, but you're playing to win. On the other hand, avoiding paying taxes is like trying to leave a place without paying the bill. It includes doing things that are against the law, like not reporting income or putting down expenses that didn't happen. This is not just a bad idea, it is also against the law and can lead to fines or even jail time. So in a word, knowing the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion is like knowing the difference between driving the speed limit and speeding down a busy street. It's too bad that this isn't taught in school. How to fight inflation. Do you ever go to your favorite store and feel like the prices have gone through the roof? Well, that's inflation sneaking up on you, and it can feel like your budget and you are in the middle of a surprise fighting match. Now, imagine that same thing happening on a much larger scale, affecting not just your food bill, but your rent, utilities, car payments, and pretty much everything else. Well, my friend, that's high inflation, and it hurt. Over the past few years, everyone has felt it. School trains people to work in factories and be good employees. When people ask you what you want to be when you grow up, they expect you to say something like a lawyer or a doctor, and you get a round of applause. If you're a YouTuber or pro gamer, they'll laugh at you. And this makes people think that the only way to make money is to work for someone else and be a good worker. It encourages people to stay in their own lane, stay small, and never try something new. If you found this video helpful, make sure to share it with a friend. They might need these tips to fight inflation too.